Hi everyone, my name is Lyndon, and I am here to talk to you guys about creating secure passwords and common password myths. We live in a day and age where almost everything you do requires a password. You need a password for your bank card, logging into your computer, your email, even logging into the University of Phoenix website. Passwords have been used since ancient Roman times and have been used many times since then in the military. We now live in a time where remembering a password is important to everyone. If you have an unsecure password, hackers can easily gain access to any account you have and steal from you. In the workplace, your passwords are what prevent rival companies or other people from accessing your network. Now I'm going to talk to you about some of the more common guidelines you will see when creating or changing a password. The information can be found on the Microsoft website and numerous other websites around the web. Keep in mind that these guidelines will change from job to job and website to website. The first is password length. It is recommended that you use at least 12 to 14 characters in your password. There's an important reason for this, and I will talk to you about that in a minute. The second most common guideline is avoiding predictability. Don't use any identifiers in your passwords, such as you or your family's birthdays, social security number, names of family members, or any other phrase that is tied to you and is common knowledge amongst your friends or coworkers. The third most common guideline is to make your password more complex by using special characters, numbers, and uppercase letters. The fourth, and probably the hardest to abide by, is never use the same password twice. What that means is do not use the same password for multiple sites, or when a password change is required, do not use any of the previous passwords. Now I will explain some of the common myths when it comes to creating a password. My information is derived from Symantec, one of the biggest antivirus companies around. One of the biggest myths around it is using a password generator makes your password more secure. The reality of the situation is that password generators cause your password to become difficult to remember, and they're vulnerable to hackers finding out the algorithm. Adding numbers or special characters in predictable places makes your password more secure. The reason this is a myth is because hackers use applications called password crackers, which search for common number-to-letter replacements. The next myth is really a half-truth, and that is, any password can be cracked. It is possible to create a password that will take so long to crack that it is essentially uncrackable. What I mean by so long is not in our lifetime, but this is based on current technology. And it is also possible for a password generator to get your password from the trillions of possibilities on its first attempt. The next myth is controversial, and that is that passwords should be changed every 30 days. This may lead to people developing patterns. Many of the patterns are things like using the same password with a new number at the end of it. You should never write down your password. This myth used to be generally accepted by most people. Now it is an issue because the average person has about 30 passwords to remember and change periodically. And some IT professionals have passwords in the hundreds. This becomes an issue when you have extremely complex passwords that you cannot remember, or when a high-level administrator gets fired and has the only password to the server. In many situations, people are prone to using less complex passwords so they can remember them. You can store your passwords in an encrypted Word document on 2 thumb drives and store them in a safe. The reason I said 2 is for redundancy. This also, in a way, provides two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is a model of using 2 of these 3 methods to establish your identity. That is, what you know, what you have, and who you are. On that note, I will go ahead and give you my recommendation on creating a strong, secure, and unique password for every situation. First, I would highly recommend that you make a password 12 plus characters. This provides a higher possible character combination. Second, I would suggest using letters, numbers, and special characters. This also boosts possible character combination. Third thing I would say is to use unique passwords for everything and change them periodically. Fourth thing would be not to use anything that can be related to you in any way. My fifth suggestion would be to store your password on 2 encrypted thumb drives and store them in a safe. I know this suggestion may seem controversial, but when you store your passwords on a thumb drive and in a safe, it only requires you to remember 2 passwords, or 1 password and a combination. This will do a couple of things for you. Firstly, it will eliminate the need for you to remember the dozens, or in some cases hundreds, of unique complex passwords you have. And secondly, it will enable you to go all out when making your password by making it as complex as possible. Some websites limit passwords, so there's nothing you can do there. But with your bank account password, you can go all out. Many people do not make very complex passwords due to the fear of forgetting them. With all that said, I encourage everyone to create secure passwords. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on creating secure passwords. Again, my name is Lyndon, and I thank you for listening.